Okay, in this video we're going to show just some manipulations that can be done once an object is imported into CURA. If you select the object, you'll notice these axes show up, and typically the first function that's highlighted is the move function. So note that I can drag the object to other locations on the print bed. I may want to just change the location where I print from time to time so that I'm not always printing right in the middle. Now note that I can also move very specific amounts if I want to get really particular about how my infill falls out. I can I can nudge this to make it 75 millimeters instead of 70 in the Y direction. Another thing I can do is multiply the object. I might want to make more than one copy. Of course, I could up this number to whatever I want, but we'll just make one copy for now. I may want to scale the object. Oftentimes, things will come into CURA from SketchUp especially, and they're not the size that you designed them. You might have designed this thing to be 65 millimeters long, and it coming in from SketchUp, sometimes it comes in smaller. So if you know any dimension, if you know the height, if you know the length or width, you can type that in specifically also. So I'll just make this smaller piece match the original. I know that I want the height, it looks like, to be 21.8 millimeters tall. So I can select this, and I can change my, excuse me, that was not the height, that was the X, that was the width. So the height is 26.16 millimeters. If I select this object, I can just type in 26.16. That was still on the move. 26.16 millimeters. And as long as uniform scaling is on, if I either click Tab or just click in another window, that's going to take effect. Okay, so this is interesting because it's not lying flat on the bed, and that should probably be changed. I think that's because I had made an adjustment to the Z. So maybe if I think after rotating, laying flat is an option. So did that. That's not making the change I want. So I think I will go back to the move function and make sure that maybe I need to make sure that my Z rather than -4 is 0. Okay, that's solved. Now let's take a look at some other features. Depending on how you want things to print, you may want to rotate these objects. Why would I want to stand that on end? There may be a couple of reasons. The orientation of the print can change the strength depending on, we could take a closer look at that later, but there might be a variety of reasons that I want to rotate an object. This piece, if I printed this piece like so, or if it came in like so, that would change the way things print because I would need support underneath the whole piece. Whereas when it's oriented this way, I'm going to need support in the middle to support this shelf here. And printing this way, I need none of that support because it will basically just print this shell, and the only place I'm going to likely need support where you see this show up in red here. So looks like mirror is another option, but that pretty well covers the different moves and manipulations that you might want to do with an object in CURA.